Namaskar, a warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Nabnita Adhikari Srivastav and with me is Saira Mushtaba bringing glimpses of the major development of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs all-party meet ahead of monsoon session of Parliament, calls for healthy discussion and cooperation from leaders of all political parties. Afghanistan recalls its ambassador in Islamabad in light of daughter's abduction. Annual 5-day Hajj pilgrimage begins in Saudi Arabia on reduced scale due to coronavirus pandemic. Death toll due to floods in Germany and Belgium rises to 180 people. German Chancellor Angela Merkel visits flood-affected sites in the country. Nelson Mandela International Day being observed around the world. Indian Panorama calls for entries for 52nd edition of IFFI. First batch of Indian athletes for Tokyo Olympics reach Japanese capital. And in cricket, India beats Sri Lanka by 7 wickets in first of 3-match ODI series in Colombo. The nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway. We advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also to help others to get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these simple steps. Wear face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday chaired an all-party meet at Parliament House ahead of the monsoon session of Parliament beginning on Monday. The meeting was convened to seek support of political parties to ensure smooth functioning of both the houses of Parliament. During the meeting, Prime Minister said that MPs have given valuable suggestions and there should be meaningful discussion in both the houses. He assured that efforts will be made to implement the suggestions collectively. He said that as per traditions of healthy democracy, issues concerning the people should be raised in amicable manner and the government should be given opportunity to respond to these discussions. The Prime Minister observed that it is the responsibility of all to create such a conducive environment. Calling for a healthy discussion, the Prime Minister sought the cooperation of the leaders of all political parties. He expressed hope that the sessions run smoothly and completes its work. He also expressed his condolences for the loss of lives due to COVID-19 pandemic. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Saturday held a meeting of floor leaders of different political parties. The Rajya Sabha Chairman urged parliamentarians to stand by the meeting in the light of the situation caused by COVID-19 and discuss all related issues. Ms. Naidu stressed that a dysfunctional parliament adds to the prevailing gloom and hence all sections of the House should ensure a smooth and productive session to address the concerns of the people affected by COVID.
Afghanistan has recalled its ambassador in Islamabad on Sunday. In a statement, the Afghan Foreign Ministry said that following the abduction of the Afghan ambassador's daughter in Pakistan, the leadership of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan called back Afghanistan's ambassador and senior diplomats from Pakistan until all security threats are addressed, including the arrest and trial of the perpetrators of the abduction. First, the Vice President of Afghanistan tweeted that the abduction of the daughter of the Afghan ambassador and her subsequent torture has wounded the psyche of the nation. On Saturday, the Afghan Foreign Ministry summoned the ambassador of Pakistan to Kabul, Mr. Mansoor Ahmad Khan, and lodged a strong protest over the abduction of the daughter of Afghanistan's ambassador to Islamabad. In a statement, the Afghan Ministry of Foreign Affairs asked Mr. Khan to convey the strong protest and deep concerns about this grave incident. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs explicitly called on the Pakistani government to take immediate action to identify and punish the perpetrators of this crime and ensure the full security and immunity of Afghan diplomats and their families in accordance with international conventions. The statement said that Ms. Silsila Ali Khail was abducted for several hours in Islamabad on Friday, the 25th of this month, and was released after being tortured. Flooding continued to wreak havoc in parts of Europe. At least 180 people have died, and with many still missing, the death toll could rise further. People in regions of Germany and Belgium, which are worst affected by the recent floods, have begun the huge task of clearing their neighborhood as the waters start to recede. The scale of the damage is becoming clear as rescue crews continue to look for victims. According to reports, emergency crews rescued people from homes in the Austrian region of Salzburg, where flood waters submerged the streets of one town. The fire brigade said the capital Vienna saw more rainfall in an hour last night than in the previous 7 weeks combined. Meanwhile, in Germany, concern shifted south to the Upper Bavaria region, where heavy rains deluged basements and roads. In western Germany, authorities said the Steinbachtal Dam remained at risk of breaching after residents were evacuated from homes downstream. At least 156 people are now known to have died in the floods in Germany, including 4 firefighters. The states of North Rhine-Westphalia, Rhineland-Palatinate and Saarland have been the worst affected. German Chancellor Angela Merkel visited flood-affected sites earlier in the day on Sunday. Rescue workers from France, Italy and Germany and Austria were sent to the Belgian city of Liège, where residents were evacuated after the flash floods. Meanwhile, in the Netherlands, thousands of people fled their homes in Limburg province as rising waters swamped cities and broke through a dike. In Belgium, the army has been sent to 4 of the country's 10 provinces to help with rescue and evacuations. Prime Minister Alexander De Croo declared the 20th of July a national day of mourning. He said the floods, which have claimed at least 27 lives in Belgium, could be the most catastrophic the country has ever seen. In Switzerland, lakes and rivers were also swelling after heavy rainfall. The river running through the Swiss capital Bern burst its bank on Friday.
India's Meteorological Department has warned that heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely to occur at few places in Mumbai city and suburbs till Monday morning. It has issued a red alert for Mumbai, Raigad, Ratnagiri, Sindhudurg and Kolhapur district for Sunday. For Monday, a red alert has been issued for Raigad, Ratnagiri, Sindhudurg, Kolhapur and Satara districts. In various incidents, 25 people have lost their lives and 8 are injured. Due to wall collapse at Chembur, Vikhroli, Bhandap and Chandivali, 24 people have lost life and 8 are injured. 1 person died due to electric shock in Andheri. State government has announced an ex gratia of 5 lakh rupees to kin of those who died in the wall collapse incident, and free treatment will be provided to the injured. Prime Minister has also announced 2 lakh each from PM National Relief Fund to the next of kin of those who lost their lives due to wall collapses. He also announced that 50,000 would be given to those injured. Due to heavy rainfall, local train services were disturbed in the morning in Mumbai. Long-distance 6 trains were cancelled, 12 were rescheduled and 12 others were short-terminated in Mumbai. This is All India Radio giving you the world news.
The centre is disseminating awareness of national helpline numbers for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The helpline number of the Health and Family Welfare Ministry is 1075. The child helpline number is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number is 14567. The helpline number of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 08046110007. Ayush COVID-19 Counselling helpline number is 14443 and MyGov WhatsApp help desk number is 9013151515.
Welcome back. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed the landmark of 40 crore doses. The Health Ministry said more than 40 crore 49 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive, with more than 51 lakh vaccine doses administered in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate is at 97.31%. The country reported 41,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. In the same time period, 518 deaths were reported. The country's active caseload is currently at 4,22,660, which is 1.36% of the total cases. And now let's take a look at the coronavirus updates from around the world. The annual 5-day Hajj pilgrimage began on Sunday in Saudi Arabia in a restricted manner due to the COVID pandemic. Saudi authorities have restricted the annual pilgrimage to 60,000 local residents only between the age of 18 and 65 years. Only fully vaccinated people are allowed to take part in the pilgrimage. Saudi authorities have put in place strict health norms to prevent the spread of coronavirus during the Hajj pilgrimage. Around 2.5 million pilgrims, including record 2 lakh pilgrims from India, had performed Hajj in 2019 before the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. 5 days ahead of the start of Olympic Games, 2 South African footballers have tested positive for COVID in the athletes' village at Tokyo in Japan. South Africa's Football Association confirmed footballers Thabiso Moyane and Kamohilo Malatsi as the cases. South Africa team manager Zoli Sisibam said daily screening is being conducted at the camp in Tokyo, which included taking temperatures and saliva testing. During the process, the 3 persons tested positive for COVID-19. According to reports, infection rates are rising among the general population of Tokyo, topping 1,000 new cases for 4 consecutive days.
In today's Hotspot section, we bring you discussion on the issues before the Parliament during the monsoon session due to start on Monday. In conversation are Ms. Aprajita Sarangi, Dr. Ami Yognik, Amarjeet Kaur and Dr. Seema Malik from the national parties of BJP, Indian National Congress, CPI and the NCP respectively, with journalist K.V. Prasad.
We open the discussion at this point of time with the statement coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Ma'am, from the Bharatiya Janata Party and the ruling party in place, what are the priorities that the government would like to have, both in terms of passage of the bills and the issues that the opposition would obviously flag and want to discuss on the floor of the houses?
I would definitely like to mention here the passage of bills would be our topmost priority, because once the bills are passed, they get transformed into acts and these acts can be implemented. And once these acts are implemented, we are actually pushing the country forward. The country has to move forward on the path of progress. And for that matter, we need to have the right kind of legislation. There are 38 bills which are pending in Parliament. Now, at this juncture, there are about 9 bills which are listed for consideration and passing, while 17 are listed for introduction, consideration and passing. And these are extremely important bills. Let me tell you that the Lok Sabha session and the Rajya Sabha session, the Parliament session, is starting on 19th of July and it would continue till 13th of August. So there would be 19 sittings in between. We expect that all the esteemed members of the 2 houses of Parliament would be present and would be participating very constructively in this very important monsoon session. And both the chairman of Rajya Sabha and the speaker of Lok Sabha, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu ji and Mr. Om Birla ji, are sitting with the leaders of all the political parties, and there would be a kind of consensus as to how to sail through very smoothly. It's very important to run the parliament very smoothly, and I think it's not only the responsibility of the ruling party, but also the responsibility of anybody who is inside the house, whether the person belongs to the ruling party or the party from the other side. So there are certain bills which definitely need mention. As far as the already introduced 9 bills is concerned, the Factoring Regulation Amendment Bill 2020 is important. The DNA Technology Use and Application Regulation Bill 2019, very important. The Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Amendment Bill 2019 is extremely important. The Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021 is very important. The Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2020 is very important. And as far as the 17 bills are concerned, which would be actually taken up for introduction, and then thereafter there will be discussion on these bills and decisions will be taken for passage. The important ones are the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2021, the Limited Liability Partnership Amendment Bill 2021, the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority Amendment Bill 2021, the Indian Antarctica Bill 2021, the Cantonment Bill 2021, the Central Universities Amendment Bill 2021. The list is long. I would not like to take time on this, but then I would definitely like to mention here that the entire country expects a very responsible opposition. Whatever bills are taken for passage, whatever debates and discussions take place within the parliament, they are done as per the provisions of the constitution. We have to respect the provisions of the Constitution. Let me tell you that apart from these bills, there will be certain private member bills also, and the ruling party would come up with certain private member bills like Population Control and Uniform Civil Code. Already some of the esteemed members are going ahead and they have kind of given notice for these two issues. They would be raising issues and there would be debates and discussions on these. But as far as the Corona is concerned, all of us are aware of the fact that we are on the brink of the third wave of Corona. And we are still, I would say, in the grip of second wave of Corona. So this is a very serious situation we are going through. And at this juncture, the message of the government, the message of the Bharatiya Janata Party is loud and clear that come what may, the progress of the country cannot be stopped. We have to move forward. We would take precautions. I'm delighted to inform that about 444 members of the Lok Sabha have already got vaccination doses. And 218 from Rajya Sabha have got the 2 vaccination doses. So I don't think there'd be any problem. But yes, we would be wearing masks and there would be social distancing. The COVID appropriate behavior norms would be followed. But then the country has to move forward. And for that matter, the parliament must meet. And we expect the opposition must behave responsibly.
Dr. Yajnik, from the Congress party as the opposition party, what are the issues that are top of the agenda?
We are meeting after almost long time and much has happened in between. The issues mainly would be, first of all, would be the vaccine program. The way the vaccine program is going and where the whole issue is being handled state-wise and the availability and who will get first. So that would be one of the priorities. The economy is the second one. The hike in fuel price every day and how it is affecting the common people of the country. That is going to be another issue. There are other several issues, whether the impact of COVID-19 has been assessed, what are going to be the steps that will be taken by the government to see what the impact is and how to kind of take steps to see that this impact is practically contained in a well manner. So these are the issues mainly. Apart from there will be, of course, issues pertaining to reopening of the Rafale case because the foreign government has opened up the case. There are other issues pertaining to foreign policy as well, how the foreign policy after the Galwan has been handled by the government. So these will be number of issues. The session is long and so I'm sure all these issues will be taken up.
Dr. Malik, there are many issues that the opposition would like to raise and we would like to understand from you some of the issues which are hot button for you and also in particular to the NCP in the ensuing session that you would like to raise.
We would like to raise the issues of the people actually. The number one is the mismanagement of the second wave of Corona, as we all have seen that. The way there was a shortage of the oxygen, the way there was a shortage of the medicines and there was no place in the hospitals and the people died. And now what we would like to know that what is the preparation for the third wave, this thing which is expected, the ICMR and IIT people. So what is their preparation? We need very specialized this thing. We need the pediatric ventilators, the pediatric wards, and the issue of the vaccination. Still there is a shortage of vaccination. They said that the government said that, I'm not here to criticize them, but they said that whole of the India will be vaccinated on, till December or something. Then we would like to raise unemployment. What is the condition of this country? The citizens are so unemployed due to roaming. Third issue is the economy, which the price hike of the petrol and diesel and all the, the essential things like the pulses and the vegetables and everything. The gas, you see where the gas cylinder and the mustard oil has gone. So we'd like to raise that issue. That's very important. It's a very basic issue. And then the farmers' education, that is also something very important. They're sitting outside, from 7 months. I think this country has never seen an agitation like this. So the farmers' issue is one of them. Then the other thing, like the women's reservation is, I think, it's very important issue. It is pending since so many days and nobody is talking about this. So we'd like to raise the issue of women's reservation bill.
Amarjit ji, we would like to understand from you in particular some of the issues that the opposition would like to flag and also in particular your party and the left parties would like to bring to the notice of the government.
Yes, price rise will be the issue. Perhaps most of the parties will be raising and my party will also raise because diesel, petrol, gas prices have been risen 24 times during a small span of time of few months. So it is a great burden on people because dal, rice, wheat, cooking oil, all prices are getting raised. And this is happening at a time when the job losses have happened. People have lost their livelihood. First lockdown, it was very heavy and very difficult situation. When the opening up happened, vast majority of workforce did not get the work back. So there are job losses, job creation is not happening. So the result is that in this situation of helplessness and loss of livelihood, price rise is a quite difficult, miserable situation for the common masses. So we'll be raising this issue forcefully, and I know other parties will also be raising it. We would also say that experience has been that Manrega was a great help during the time when the people were rushing to the rural India. So Manrega days must be increased, the rate per day should be increased, and similar kind of urban employment guarantee scheme should be brought about by the government. We also are going to raise the issue of government to begin dialogue with the farmers organizations, because we think their demands are genuine. We support their demands. Government should not say that don't talk about those 3 farm laws or the electricity bill. Don't talk about that. You can come and talk to us. Now their main issue is that they don't accept those laws. Similarly, we think that as the dialogue should begin with the farmers, once the Supreme Court said, okay, for 1.5 years, these laws should not be implemented and matters should be resolved between farmers and the government, I think it is responsibility of the government to begin with the dialogue and not with the prerequisite that you accept these laws and then we sit and talk with you. There should be dialogue between them and the government. So we will raise that issue. We will also raise the issue of labor laws. We want the labor codes also to be withdrawn. We support the trade unions on their demand because we think tripartism was ignored. Indian Labour Conference did not happen since 2015. 6 years have passed, but these codes were brought after that. No dialogue could happen appropriately with the government and no discussion could take place in parliament. We think that no process was followed. We also feel that the land is a state subject. Labor laws also come in the state domain. Now even cooperatives come in the state domain. The way the government is moving ahead is ignoring federalism. Employment generation is very serious issue for us. So as a left, we have been opposing privatization of our public sector. Once again, we will be raising this issue. No privatization of our public sector. Rather, government should increase investment in public health system from primary health to district to state hospitals. Everywhere this intervention should increase, and those who are front rank fighters, they must be listened to. Whatever was promised to them, if they die, how the families will be compensated, nothing is being done. So we will be pressing upon that point also. And we think that farmers' demands are not only for farmers. It is an issue for whole of population because food security is a serious issue for whole of population. And if Essential Commodities Act will be changed, the way the farm laws are designed, then hoarding will increase. And if hoarding increases, nobody will be able to check the prices of essential commodities. And it is an issue of mass consumption.
Well, that was a very interesting discussion. From beginning Monday, we'll see the discussions and debates and bills passage. We thank all our participants in this program. Thank you very much.
The 18th of July is celebrated as the Nelson Mandela International Day every year. The United Nations, in a statement, said that the day offers a moment for all to renew with the values that inspired Madiba, as Nelson Mandela is fondly called, a deep commitment to justice, human rights and fundamental freedoms. Speaking on the occasion, Secretary General of UN, Mr. Antonio Guterres paid tribute to the extraordinary man who, he said, embodied the highest aspirations of the United Nations and the human family.
Madiba's calls for solidarity and an end to racism are particularly relevant today as social cohesion around the world is threatened by division. Societies are becoming more polarized, with hate speech on the rise and misinformation blurring the truth, questioning science and undermining democratic institutions. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has made these ills more acute and rolled back years of progress in the global fight against poverty. As always, in times of crisis, it is the marginalized and discriminated against who suffer the most, often while being blamed for problems they did not cause.
52nd International Film Festival of India IFFI has called for entries for Indian Panorama 2021. Indian Panorama is a flagship component of the International Film Festival of India IFFI, under which best of contemporary Indian films are selected for the promotion of film art. The 52nd edition of IFFI will be held in Goa from 20th to 28th November. The last date to submit applications online is 12th of August.
Moving on to sports. In cricket, India won the first one-day international by 7 wickets in the 3-match series at R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. Chasing a victory target of 263 runs set by Sri Lanka, India achieved the target in 36.4 overs, with Shikhar Dhawan unbeaten on 86 in 95 balls and Ishan Kishan made 59 in 42 balls. Prithvi Shaw, who made 43 in 24 balls, was named the player of the match. With this win, India has gained a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. The second ODI will now be played on Tuesday. Earlier, opting to bat first after winning the toss, hosts posted 262 for 9 in stipulated 50 overs. Shamika Karunaratne was the top scorer for the Sri Lankan side with unbeaten 43 runs off 35 balls. The first batch of Indian athletes for Tokyo Olympics have landed in the Japanese capital. The boxing team led by MC Mary Kom, badminton ace PV Sindhu, archers Atanu Das and Deepika Kumari, along with the men's and women's Indian hockey teams, reached Tokyo on Sunday. So far, athletes and support staff of 13 different disciplines including badminton, archery, hockey, judo, swimming, weightlifting, gymnastics, shooting, boxing, rowing, sailing and table tennis have reached Japan.
With only a few days remaining for the start of the Tokyo Olympics, All India Radio brings a special series on India's medal prospect at the sporting extravaganza. Today we'll look at Indian golfers Anirban Lahiri, Udayan Mane and Aditi Ashok representing the country at the Summer Games.
India is now a well-known name in the world of golf. The country has produced some quality golfers over the years who have made their presence felt at the international level and are now being looked at as India's medal prospects in the prestigious quadrennial event. 3 promising talents, Anirban Lahiri, Udayan Mane and Aditi Ashok are spearheading India's golf contingent in the Tokyo Olympics. While Anirban and Udayan have secured their berths in the men's golf events, Aditi is set to lead India's charge in the women's events. Anirban and Aditi had also tried their luck in the Rio Olympics. The seasoned Indian golfer Anirban made it to the Summer Games as India's highest-ranked golfer. After securing the Olympic quota, Anirban said the ticket to Tokyo Olympics is a big gift and opportunity for him. The second highest-ranked Indian golfer Udayan said he's very excited to get the opportunity to represent India in the Olympics. Aditi, who is the first female Indian golfer to qualify for Tokyo Olympics, said that it is a matter of pride for the Indian team to play in Tokyo.
A quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs all-party meet ahead of monsoon session of Parliament, calls for healthy discussion and cooperation from leaders of all political parties. Afghanistan recalls its ambassador in Islamabad in light of daughter's abduction. Annual 5-day Hajj pilgrimage begins in Saudi Arabia on reduced scale due to coronavirus pandemic. Death toll due to floods in Germany and Belgium rises to 180 people. German Chancellor Angela Merkel visits flood-affected sites in the country. Nelson Mandela International Day being observed around the world. Indian Panorama calls for entries for 52nd edition of IFFI. First batch of Indian athletes for Tokyo Olympics reach Japanese capital. And in cricket, India beat Sri Lanka by 7 wickets in first of the 3-match ODI series in Colombo. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to his favourite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from South Africa on the occasion of the Nelson Mandela International Day.
Vaishnav Jan do tene kahiye je peed parai jane re par dukhe उपकार करे तो ये पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन हबी.
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.